Hello everyone and welcome back to CarWale. I'm Bilal and this is the all-new Kia Carens. Now the Carens, it's stirring up a storm, taking the fight directly to the Maruti Suzuki XL6. And the Carens, it's also got some serious firepower to back up its arsenal as well. Now we first saw the Carens in December last year when Kia was pitching it as an RV, a recreational vehicle. Then we drove it a few months back and many of the questions that were surrounding the Carens were answered. You can find a link to our detailed first drive video in the description below. Now we have had this Carens with us for some time now and we at CarWale have grown fond of it, as I'm sure many of you have as well. So we decided to spend some time with it and look at it in finer details. In this video, we are putting the Carens through a CarWale fuel efficiency test to answer an all-important question. Kitna deti hai? Now, before we begin, do let us know in a comment section below how do you like these CarWale fuel efficiency videos, and also let us know what other cars you would like similar videos to be done for. While at it, do remember to like, share and subscribe to the CarWale YouTube channel and also hit that bell icon so you never miss an update whenever we upload a new video. Now, Kia is offering the Carens with 3 engine options. The first is the 1.5 litre diesel, which also does duties in many cars, ranging from the Hyundai Venue, Kia Sonet, the Seltos, Creta and even the i20. And it's also available with a torque converter automatic in this Carens. Then there are 2 other petrol engines as well. The first is a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder, which is also familiar across the Hyundai and Kia lineup. However, this naturally aspirated motor is only available with a manual gearbox and offered only in 2 trims. And the third engine option is this, the 1.4 litre turbo-petrol, which can be had either with a 6-speed manual or a dual-clutch automatic. Now in this video, we are driving the latter, the DCT. If you want a similar video for the manual version or for the diesel, do let us know in the comment section below and we'll be happy to oblige. If you are regular to the CarWale channel, you must be familiar with our tank-to-tank method we use to find out real-world fuel efficiency. And if you are new to the channel, here's a little recap. Like every other car we test at CarWale, we'll follow the tank-to-tank method in this video as well, wherein we'll tank up the car to the brim and then drive around a predefined route that is familiar to us, and it includes all kinds of scenarios an everyday driver might encounter. Then we'll come back to the fuel pump and tank it up again. We'll then compute the kilometers driven divided by the liters consumed, equating to the real world fuel efficiency. Now this 1.4 litre turbo petrol engine has an output of around 140 horsepower and 240 Newton meter. Kia hasn't specified the exact fuel efficiency figures for this engine. So if you're considering to buy one, this video will surely be very helpful. This turbo petrol motor feels refined at idle and there's barely any noise audible inside the cabin. Slot in the D and get going and the momentum is smooth and progressive. The upshifts on this DCT are seamless and you can barely feel the gearbox rowing its way up or down the gears. It tends to shift around 2000 RPM with a good amount of bottom range grunt, helping to keep pottering around city speeds effortlessly. And if you do get on the throttle with some enthusiasm, there's a good show packed from this 4-cylinder as well. This turbo petrol is decently fast when pushed. To give you a perspective, a 0 to 100 km/h in the Carens turbo petrol DCT comes up in just under 10 seconds. On the other hand, drive it sedately and it will never give you a reason to complain. Now there are 3 drive modes in the Kia Carens: Eco, Normal and Sport. For this 80 km loop around the city, we'll divide it equally in all 3 drive modes. In the Eco mode, the throttle response it's a bit subdued, and in comparison, the Sport mode feels a bit sprightly in nature. So the normal mode is where most of the drivers would find it comfortable to drive in everyday usability. The two things that makes the Kia Carens a breeze to drive around the city are light controls and good visibility all around. You sit pretty upright despite the lowest driving position, and this thin A-pillar and large windows, they provide good visibility all around. So it's easy to park in the city and you get a good fair view around the car, and despite the long wheelbase, it never feels bothersome. Now 80 kilometers is coming up on the trip meter, so let's head back to the fuel pump, tank it up again, and then we'll calculate the real world fuel efficiency of this Carens turbo-petrol DCT. Finally, after driving 79.7 kilometers, we have tanked up the Carens again, and it took in close to 6.46 liters. That gives us a calculated fuel efficiency of 12.33 kilometers to the liter. That's pretty good, don't you think? Here's a little secret. It's marginally better than its direct rival. Now, without wasting any time, let's hop in and head towards the highway. At triple-digit speeds, the Carens turbo-petrol could be churning away at around 1800 to 1900 rpm in the 7th gear. That's before the turbo spools up, and you'd only need that when there's a real need for a quick overtake. Otherwise, with a relaxed nature on the highway, the Carens indeed makes for a good long-distance mile muncher. While in the city, the potholes and irregularities are absorbed quite well. But out here on the highway, it gets even better as the Carens manages to glide over most of the bad patches. But you can hear the suspension more than you can actually feel it. Now, since many of you have asked us about the CNG alternative for the Carens, well, sadly there is none at the moment, but there might be one in the future. Who knows? Because you see, the price of the petrol is skyrocketing every day, and if you have a lot of cross-country distance commute, there is a diesel alternative with the Carens, which isn't something that you can get in the XL6 or the Ertiga. Now, after clocking another 80 kilometers on the highway, we tanked up the Carens once again. This time it took in around 4.6 liters. That equates to a highway fuel efficiency of 17.11 kmpl. To give you a perspective, that's going from Mumbai to Goa in a tank full. As we have mentioned earlier, that this turbo petrol engine is also available with a manual gearbox. Now, it may or may not be as frugal as this DCT, but we'll only know for sure when we test it out ourselves. And if you have actually booked a Carens for yourself, do let us know in the comment section below what you like about it and what you don't. Now, if you want to know anything more about the Kia Carens or any other car for that matter, like specification, on-road pricing in your city, or even finance options even, you can always visit our website www.carwale.com. Until next time.